What's up everybody, Skizzers here, and in this video we will be covering the skills you must master to become a top tier Viper main. Learning these skills will make your enemies regret ever walking into your Viper's pit.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
So what I wanted to do this time around is give a few examples of things you can do as Viper and allow you to take these ideas and apply them to wherever you see fit. Viper's abilities can be used in many different situations, both on attack and defense. We won't be going into specific spots in this video, but if you want to know some really cool spots on attack as well as defense for orb placements and wall placements, I highly recommend searching them up here on YouTube as well as Reddit. This video, along with the series as a whole, is made to give you a checklist, so to speak, of skills you will need to know in order to take your Viper play to the next level, as well as other agents in other videos. So some interesting numbers to take note for Viper is that from the 100 toxin that you start with, Poison Cloud and Poison Wall will stay up for roughly 17 seconds when only one is in use, and 11 seconds if both of them are used at the same time. Both Poison Cloud and Poison Wall have a 5-second cooldown before they can be activated again, and it roughly takes 19 seconds to fully charge your toxin levels from 0 to 100. Snakebite lasts for roughly 9 seconds, and your ult Viper's Pit will last indefinitely as long as you stay in it. You can walk in and out of your ult and can stay outside of it for roughly 4 seconds before you'll need to dip back into it to keep it up. Otherwise, it'll stop working and it'll drop down to the floor. Toxin management is very, very important on Viper. It's actually going to be the biggest skill that separates a good Viper from a bad Viper player. Managing your toxins properly allow you to stall out rounds to the point of where the enemy team needs to push into you and put themselves into a very disadvantageous position, allowing you and your team to have a much easier time winning the round. Learning different scenarios where you'll need to balance your various abilities as well as your toxin levels can make or break a round as Viper. Enemies that are inside your Poison Cloud or your Poison Wall or in your ultimate Viper's Pit receive a status effect called decay. What decay actually does is it causes you to rapidly lose health all the way down to 1. It can't kill you, but you can drop down to 1. If you walk out of any of the poison effects, you lose the decay status and your health will tick back up until it reaches the health you had when you first entered it. So think of it this way. Here's an example. You have 90 HP, alright, you have 90 health. You walk into one of Viper's abilities for a while and drop down to around 40 health. Now you effectively have a gray health bar that is your full 90, but then your current health bar is 40. So once you've lost the decay status effect, your 40 health will tick back up to its original 90 from when you first entered. Getting shot at any point after removing the decay effect does not stop your health from returning back to where it was. However, you will have less HP than when you started because you took a shot from the enemy. My standard stall strategy can be used in any corridor that is around the size of your Poison Cloud, and it can stall up to 44 to 45 seconds of a round, which is a pretty significant portion of the round, and can lead to your enemy being put in some very uncomfortable positions. The example being shown here is on Bind and defending B site in the hookah area. I first throw down my Poison Cloud, and I would be listening for any initial movement towards hookah. If I hear something, I'll activate the Poison Cloud and walk into it. The toxin level is usually around 55 to 65 at the point of activation. In this example, I do have the Judge shotgun, but for this strategy, I use any weapon. That can be Phantom, Vandal, whatever you're going to be using. Any gun works, but for the example, I do have the Judge shotgun. Being inside the Poison Cloud will allow you to pick off anyone who's pushing through the Poison Cloud before they have a chance to react to you. The only downside to this is if you're against players who typically pre-fire all the smokes, you may not want to stand directly inside of it and just pop the orb and continue to listen for movement. Right before the Poison Cloud dissipates, you want to line up and shoot one of your snakebites, and the snakebite, lasting roughly 9 seconds as we said earlier, can stall out even longer after your orb's gone if they're not going to be pushing through it. So once that first snakebite is about to finish, you want to shoot out your second snakebite to continue the stall. And lastly, after that second snakebite is ending, you want to reactivate your Poison Cloud and go stand back in it like you did before, or stand near it if they're constantly pre-firing smokes. Now at the point where the Poison Cloud is going to be dissipating one last time here, you can choose to either hold your position and just try to continue to fight from the angles that you have, or you can jump out, reposition, in this case jump out of the hookah window and reposition yourself on the B site. Toxic screen can be used as a short range wall to block off one area, as shown here with one of my B setups on bind, or it can be used to shoot into the sky for incredibly long range walls. In this example, I shoot a toxic screen from B site over to the entrance of A site. This particular wall allows me to play in this corner pocket position in the cubby and either hold a B long angle and block off hookah, or play more passively and block off both B long and hookah from my current position, while still playing in that corner pocket B site cubby. If I activate the toxic screen, I not only will be providing myself cover, but also will be blocking off a push that could be happening onto the A site. You can see how finding more of these setups, and even better and more complex ones than this basic example, could have a huge impact in your matches. Now, both of my examples were on defense, but Viper is also very useful on offense. You can apply these exact same techniques and skills to offense and be just as effective there. If you were doing an execute onto a site, you can preemptively drop your wall in order to block off rotates, or even possibly cut the site in half so it's easier to take the site overall. You can use your orb and wall to really lock down a site completely. Then if you still have your utility, once the spike's planted, you can go into that stalling strategy that we explained earlier and completely deny an entry point from the enemy team's retake, allowing your team to focus on less angles and positions that the enemy could come through. Viper's ult, Viper's Pit, has some really good uses both offensively and defensively. Depending on where you place the ult, you can really give the enemy a hard time. If enemies walk through Viper's ult while you're inside, when you get close enough to them, they'll be highlighted in a red outline that tracks them real time, so you'll know their location before they can see you. On screen now, you're going to be seeing pictures of different bomb sites and how big Viper's ult is being used on the default plant positions. This will give you a good indicator and a good idea how large Viper's ult is, so when you go into placing it in your games, if it's not in the default spot, you can get a rough idea of how large Viper's ult is going to be and what areas will be covered by it. Feel free to pause the video right now and take a look at all the examples shown. I found in some scenarios, placing your ultimate further away from the spike plant position can be more beneficial than right on top of the spike itself. Doing something like this will allow your team to have more room to move and also to watch angles, while the enemy team may have to funnel into areas they may not want to. This ult placement allows your team to stay towards the front of the bomb site, towards mid, and allows you to watch the side entrances coming from A or C into the site. This is just one example, but you can see how experimenting where you should be placing your ult and learning strong positions can really improve your team's chances to win a round. So in combining all of these abilities and all the various uses you can use, you can see how Viper can be a force to be reckoned with. Whether you're attacking or defending, you can completely lock down a site using Viper alone, and with proper placement of your ult, you can help your team by cutting out areas of the map that the enemy team might want to be rotating through, but now no longer can unless they want to challenge you within Viper's Pit. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope it really helped you out in explaining what you need to learn to master Viper and become a menace to the enemy team. If this video helped you out in any way, please give the video a like, as it really does help me out and will help me reach more people that may be looking to learn agents such as Viper. If you have any additional questions, feel free to comment them down below and I'll answer them if I can. Subscribe for more educational Valorant videos, and I'll be seeing you all in the next video.